healthy nursing workforce is crucial to providing high-quality care, improving healthcare system, and increasing economic resilience. With the theme, Our Nurses, Our Future, Caring for Nurses Strengthens Economies, the world is standing still in honor of the sacrifice and resilience of nurses on a day dedicated to them. This stresses the need for funding and workable solutions to safeguard nurses from emotional, mental, and physical difficulties while making sure they are respected, valued, and supported. By implementing nurses' well-being first, healthcare systems can improve community outcomes and create sustainable economies. This will be our focus on Nigeria Today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mikaria Clinton. Now with me in the studio for the conversation is Jama Medan. He's the FCT Chairman, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Nanim, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers.
And also with us for the conversation is Esienabasi Emem John, Senior Assistant General Secretary, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, viewers.
Now, I'll start with you, Emem. Tell us, how significant is it for you for a day to be set aside to celebrate you?
Thank you very much. You see, listening to this question gives me joy because indirectly you're telling me to express myself. You see, the International Nurses Day celebration is recognized globally. I would simply say it is a new year for nurses because all the nurses world over, they come together in different countries to commemorate our foundational philosopher, who was Florence Nightingale, and it is a day set aside for us to celebrate ourselves. At the same time, we do some sort of self-appraisal where we come to ask, where did we do well? And we give ourselves a pat on the back and then look at the challenges. Okay, resilience, compassion, dedication, commitment is one thing that we need to celebrate our successes even when nobody is celebrating us. So that is why it is very, very important for us to gather annually to celebrate ourselves.
So, Jama, I want you to share with us what your experience has been as a nurse.
Thank you. My experience as a nurse, you know, many people don't understand that there is a specialty in nursing. Where as a nurse, I'm a nurse anesthetist. Okay. I actually work in the theater. My responsibility there is clear during surgeries. And my experience as a nurse, I started working in the ward. Actually, nursing is a calling. It's a profession that you are called to serve. Caring for someone who cannot help himself at that point is a thing of joy. As per my experience as a nurse, I have met severally dying patients or patients that cannot help themselves to that level. And by the time you sit down, you see somebody who messed up himself and could not even take care of himself at that point. You come in, clean the person, and you see someone who could not even feed himself. You feed him, and he turns and look at you to the face and say, "Oh, my brother or my son, thank you, and may God bless you." Those are the experiences that when we see it as a nurse, helping someone who cannot help himself, but could do things that if necessarily, actually, if not because he is sick, he could have done them by himself, but because he is down, he is now looking at you to come and do it for him. So my experience, honestly, is something good, and it's a blessing to me to be a nurse.
So back to you, I know Jama has, shared some of the experience with us. I know you also have yours, but we'll go into that now. We know that will definitely not go today. But however, having said this, from what he said, your profession is such that, promotes compassion. For you to be a nurse, you must have that bit of compassion within you, for you to care for another person. You must have that, will I say, you must sympathize and empathize with the person first. No? Now, tell us, what has been the challenges? Looking at the Nigerian, healthcare system, what are some of these challenges that you've confronted as a nurse, and how do you think we can address them?
Okay. The challenges are enormous, I must say, starting from the shortage in the nursing workforce, going to the poor remuneration. Of course, we can't talk about it without the challenges without mentioning the remuneration of nurses. Then we talk about the unsafe work environment. Unsafe in the sense that there's no security, there's no safety, and we talk about unconducive work environment. The structures are dilapidated, and there are no renovation. We talk about the lack of or insufficient personal protective equipment to work with. You're ready to work, but the equipment are not just there, and you're left to do the improvisation, because all that is important is getting the work done, serving this life first, when the equipment or the necessary tools are not in place. And we can go on and on and on, but how do we mitigate these things? First of foremost, the government has to pay more attention to the healthcare delivery system. By that I mean, I would first of all appreciate the government of the day, because last year there was a budgetary allocation for the healthcare system, that was about 5.02%, but this year it has increased to 5.2%. That's about 2.14 trillion to healthcare sector. So they are making effort. It's not enough. And we have a crop of nurses being turned out yearly who are graduated and qualified, but they are not plowing them back into the system. So you see that it's putting strain on the ones that exist that are working. So the government has to look for a way to retain these people or bring them back into the system, so that the existing ones are not worn out. Because when they face this burnout and they are mentally unhealthy, there's a breakdown, and definitely there's going to be a reaction. Of course, to every action there's equal and opposite reaction. So if these people are not mentally stable, and there's no delegation of duty or allocation of duties where one would do for a short period, another person takes over, of course it puts strain on this person, and the output can never be the same. So the government of the day at every tier of development has to do something, especially at the grassroots, because they are the first beneficiaries. So government should do something about it and give us what we deserve, because it's not easy, I must tell you, for one to vomit on your uniform and you clean up and still get back to work. Then you go home after packing maggot and feces. You still use our hands to eat. It's not easy. So the government should consider giving us the right remuneration and giving us a pat at the back when we do well.
That's what we're doing today. We're giving a pat on the back, celebrating you for what you've been doing. Really, when you were mentioning some of the things that you said, well, kudos.
Thank you.
What you've been doing. That's what we tried. Now I'll come back to you, Jama. I know MM has mentioned, quite a lot of, challenges there. But again, I must not fail to mention that if you go to some hospitals, the attitude of some nurses is very appalling. Some of them are so, even from home, as if they are frustrated from home, and you are the cause of their frustration. And when they are talking to you, that is, if they care to even, talk to you, they just, will I say, snub you talking in such a way. So I want to find out, is there anything your association is doing to address some of these attitudes that some of our nurses put up in the places of work?
Thank you very much. I actually want to correct some impression before I go in. I used to say this thing in various places. I say particularly if government can do the needful, I don't think we will be facing all these kind of questions here. I used to say that our nurses in Nigeria are the best all over the world. And I said the other time, bring an Oyibo nurse from outside this country and subject him to the same condition where we found ourselves in Nigeria working, he will be the worst all over the world. And she has mentioned the challenges that we are facing. Shortage of manpower, for instance. If you talk about shortage of manpower, go to the hospital today. When you go to the hospital, you find a nurse, a nurse working, taking care of about over 30 patients. And well, the WHO standards say a nurse per 4 patients. That is one. Two, we are talking about unsafe environment. When we say unsafe environment, we are talking about poor condition of service, remuneration, and all these things. These people are not even well paid. Outside this country, where all these things are made, and our nurses that leave Nigeria to other countries, do they behave there that way? It's the working condition around. You go to the hospital, this shortage of manpower does not stop only on nurse. You find out that the nurse is the cleaner in that hospital. The nurse is the nurse there. He is the doctor. He is even taking care of the lab and everything. Here in Nigeria, we don't employ everybody and give he is the receptionist, he is the security man.
Are you talking for the government hospitals, or are you talking about private hospitals? Because this happens in private, not in government hospitals, because we have professionals in government hospitals. You'll agree with me.
I am talking about general issues.
Okay.
General issues. Either government hospital, because private hospital, they are even trying to save cost. They may not employ all these other cadres that I'm talking about. The whole responsibility comes back to a nurse. Let me give you an example. Today, yesterday, a nurse was beaten in Abaji General Hospital, and a pregnant woman, a pregnant nurse in that matter, and the other nurse, he beat them. Why did he beat them? Nothing. After helping him to deliver his wife, then the man now just, come, take your bill, go and pay. He started fighting the nurse. And what is her own offense on this matter is go and pay. People that are coming to the hospital, most of the time, some of them are already frustrated with some of their issues because of the economic hardship and whatever. And when they come and meeting one single nurse, trying to get that single nurse to do everything for all the 35 nurses at the same time, which is not possible, is the pressure that the nurses are having that is sometimes making them to react.
So how can we address these issues?
Good. Addressing this issue is very simple. What are the root cause of those things? One, if the WHO say a nurse per 4 patients, recruit more nurses. I have said it all over the government hospital in FCT. We are now operating a nurse per 35 patients. Recruit more workers. I have said it here last week that in primary healthcare centers, we have over 270 primary healthcare centers, only less than 30 nurses. I have said it, with a population of 6.2 million in FCT, we have less than 1,000 nurses. And even in the government annual operational booklets, they have made it clear there that they have a shortage of 5,000 nurses. They need 6,000. Already they have only 1,000. The shortage is 5,000. Okay. That is to tell you that they have recognized that yes, there is a shortage of almost 5,000 nurses to meet up. If they recruit nurses, it will reduce all the. If you give them safe environment, you recruit other health professionals that need to also support them, or the supportive health workers, it will reduce pressure on them, pay them good salaries, remuneration, and that will turn down tensions and other things that we are talking about.
We'll come back to that. We'll take a short break now. The conversation will continue after the break. Don't go away.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow, under digital economy, for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different? We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that are questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today. Welcome back. This is Nigeria Today, and we're looking at the nurses and the healthcare system, Nigerian healthcare system. Of course, I have two nurses in the house for this conversation. Now, back to you, I know you've mentioned some of the challenges. Now, what are, some of the, or will I say the incentives you think can be giving to these nurses that will make them stable? Because we have a serious issue of brain drain, where you see nurses fleeing to other countries. Like you mentioned, some of them that went abroad are they seeing? So what are some of the incentives that, what is that thing that you think can be done to ensure that they stay back and strengthen our healthcare system?
Thank you very much. The requirements are not much. First thing, let the government give nurses enhanced salary structure. Like what is done world over. They pay attention to this workforce that contributes about 60% of the total workforce. So if the government can give us enhanced salary structure and give us our due allowances, the specialty allowances, so that we can have nurses functioning in different arms of care. You do not expect a nurse anesthetist, just as my colleague, to go and work at the ER, the emergency room. He concentrates in his area. A midwife remains a midwife. So if you want her to function well, pay her this specialty allowance. A thing like uniform allowance, it may interest you to know. We wear uniform, we wear scrubs to work, and the government is not giving us what is due us. How can you give us 20,000 naira in a whole year to buy a uniform? This is a uniform that blood and body fluids spill on. How do you expect us to do the same uniform and come to work? Are you getting? So these allowances are what we are asking for, because it is obtainable world over. I wouldn't have any need to want to travel abroad if my country of birth is taking care of me financially and structurally wise, and then financially, and how do I put it now, environmentally, that the workplace is safe for me. So if the government can give us our allowances that is due us, they'll give us a safe environment to work, give us the necessary equipment to keep us at par with the global standard, and then make sure that we are safe. Workplace violence is much, and you wouldn't want to leave your house and get beaten. So if government can put stringent measures to checkmate these things, then I wouldn't have any need or any reason to leave my domain, which I am familiar with, to go abroad. So for this brain drain to stop, let the government pay us, let them employ us, let them treat us well. When I do well, come out, come on air, say appreciate, like a day like this, the government should come out with a press statement thanking the nurses just as it obtainable outside the country. Then I wouldn't think of leaving home, because home is better.
Thank you very much, for that. Now, Jama, talk to us. How do you think nurses' commitment, their hard work, all they put in their influence in the life of the patients, the patient care, can be appreciated?
Thank you very much.
Or can be appreciated more, because already they have been appreciated. I mean, agree with me, they have been appreciated.
Like just what we said, actually we are not asking government, we are not the only professionals. We are not asking government to do anything different from what is being done. She just mentioned why people are leaving this country. Nobody is leaving this country because he wants to leave. And nobody is saying that give me the whole world, I want to do this thing. But actually there are some small things that if we are, if I know that government, before now, what the government do, they build houses for workers, health workers. You get houses and say, oh, these are houses for you people, and go and do this. And look at the cost of houses now in Abuja or all over the country. Do you think there is anyone that can afford to buy a house? Look at the cost of food in the market today. Go to H-Medics. I saw it last. The cost of one bag of rice is over 130,000 naira, and you are paying a nurse 130,000 naira. Many people provide buses to convey workers to their workplace, and all these things, when you put them together, we are talking about salary structure. When they pay you money, that money cannot even pay for your house rent, talk less of paying for your children, take less of doing whatever.
How do we solve these issues?
You talk about insurance for them, provide vehicles loan for them, provide housing loan for them, get a safe environment for nurses, particularly for those working in the rural area. If you see people working in the rural area, no roads to those places, security, kidnapping is involved in those places. If you can give them those good working conditions, even apart from that, some of the major reasons why people are living here, simple thing, do it for patients. You can be the patient. What are we saying? You go to hospital, no equipment to work with. The hospital are dilapidated, no equipment, no this. For example, they will tell you that FCT, the entire FCT, we cannot have MRI in a government hospital. We cannot have CT scan for a government hospital functional. That's why people are leaving, because I become useless when I'm not practicing my real skill.
But can the private sector coming in all of this?
Well, the private sector can come in. What are they doing in the private sector? Most of this private sector, do you know how much they pay workers? They pay them 100,000, 30,000, even it cannot transport them.
I'm talking about the, the NGOs and the rest of them that come in to support, some of our
I think there should be a partnership.
When we talk about partnership, it doesn't work in Nigeria. Look at Garki General Hospital that they gave out. We bought everything, equipped that Garki General Hospital, did everything that they did and gave it to one person. And since they gave that Garki General Hospital to that man, he has never added any value to that. And our workers in that place, they don't pay them very well. So how can it work? And it's even more expensive than any other places. So what are we doing? It's just to empower one single individual.
You don't have that facts.
I have.
We don't have that facts. No. Now, okay. So now, talk to us. Quite a lot of young people, would want to become nurses, because I've seen a couple of young ladies that want to become nurses. What would be your message to some of them that are considering a career in the nursing profession?
Thank you. For our young people that intend to come into nursing profession, I would advise, first of all, do a self-check meeting to know that you have passion for what you want to go into. There are things you are not taught in school, but you see them in the practical area. So if you're not compassionate, you do not have the empathetic mind to take care of people, please don't venture. I know that globally nurses are required, and they are seeing it as a business format where people make it easily, especially traveling abroad. But I would say even in abroad, you need to practicalize what you have learned. You must take care of people. So for our young people who wants to come into nursing, please come in with the compassionate mind of taking care of these people, so that at the end of the day, you will go home happy and satisfied that you were able to save a life. I must add that taking care of patients is a privilege for me, because ordinarily I wouldn't have anything to do with you if you did not come to me. So I see it as a lifetime opportunity, a privilege for me to take care of you. And it gladdens my heart to see you come back strong. If I see you tomorrow, I'll be happy that I was able to impart positively. So for the young people, please have that at the back of your mind.
Don't make me feel like visiting the hospital.
But if you meet me, I tell you, you will be happy meeting me.
Don't make me feel like coming to the hospital.
Please, when you leave your home, pray to meet me.
Thank you very much. That was Estienabasi John. He's a Senior Assistant General Secretary, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing your thoughts with us. And also Jama Median is a FCT Chairman, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you for being part of the program. I'm Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.